You've probably heard the advice a million times. Be open, share your truth, speak from the heart, be transparent. Why? Because honesty supposedly builds connection, right? But here's a harsh truth for you. That's actually a lie. It's a lie told by people who want you to get vulnerable so they can use it against you. It's told by manipulators who smile while collecting ammo from everything you say. It's told by the world itself, which rewards the illusion of authenticity but then punishes you the moment you reveal too much. Niccolo Machiavelli. That Machiavelli knew better. The promises of openness and truthfulness were necessities a long time ago. Today, the word broken is the reality we live in. He didn't teach connection, he taught control. And if you want to survive not just as some victim but as a real strategist, you've got to follow his darkest rules. Starting with this, never reveal these 7 things to anyone. Let's dive in. Number 1. Never reveal your true intentions. Everyone says, just be honest about what you want. People will respect that. But Machiavelli had a much smarter take. Everyone around you sees what you pretend to be, but very few get to experience who you really are. Why? Because the moment people learn your destination, they start getting in your way. They get ready to block you. They try to use your ambition against you. They start testing if you're a threat. They get scared and begin forming alliances, gossiping, sabotaging all before you've even taken your first step. Your ambition scares them, and your honesty feeds them. So what do? You conceal it. Let them guess. Let them underestimate you. Let them think you're passive. Meanwhile, you're quietly building the empire they didn't even see coming. You don't say, I want to get promoted. You say, I'm just here to learn. You don't say, I'm not interested anymore. You say, we'll see. You don't declare war. You make everyone believe peace is permanent, and it's too late, because when your goals are invisible, your enemies don't know where to strike. Number 2. Never reveal your emotional weakness. Be real, be vulnerable, they say. But what they really mean is, show me where to stab. Every time you admit how much something hurts, how often you overthink, how lonely or insecure you feel, they don't hear honesty, they hear opportunity. People collect your emotional wounds, just like an assassin collects poison quietly, patiently, and methodically to use when it counts. They'll smile when you open up, nod like they understand. But the moment the connection breaks, that's what they'll weaponize. They won't attack your strengths. No, they'll attack your confessions. Machiavelli wasn't heartless. He was strategic. He understood that showing some vulnerability can be useful, but real vulnerability must be guarded at all costs. You want to cry? Do it alone. Want to break? Do it in silence. Want to scream? Swallow it. The more emotion you reveal, the more power you hand over. Control your expression. Even if you can't control your feelings, that's not deception, it's defense. Number 3. Never reveal your real alliances. You might believe loyalty should be obvious, that people feel safer when they know who you trust. But in a world where power rules, loyalty is a liability, and visibility is a death sentence. Machiavelli said, it is double pleasure to deceive the deceiver. People who know your real allies know exactly how to corner you. They know who to pressure, threaten, or corrupt. They'll use your connections to triangulate your moves, poison your inner circle, and that's how entire kingdoms fall. Not by outside invasion, but from exposed alliances. Your true loyalty. Keep it off stage, in public. Be unpredictable. Be polite to your rivals. Be skeptical of your friends. Be neutral with everyone. Make people wonder who really holds your ear, who you truly answer to. Let them chase rumors while you operate from the shadows. In war, the greatest weapon isn't raw strength, it's uncertainty. And nothing creates uncertainty like the person who smiles at everyone but reveals nothing. Number 4. Never reveal what truly motivates you. They'll ask you all the time what drives you. What's your why? What gets you out of bed each morning? And if you answer honestly, you've just handed them the control panel to your mind. You say, I want to prove myself. What they hear is, I crave validation, and I can be controlled by silence. You say, I just want to feel loved. Now they know you're emotionally hungry, which means they can starve you into obedience. You say, I want to make my family proud. They hear, you can be guilt-tripped. You think you're being deep. You think you're bonding. But in the game of power, your motivation isn't a story. It's a lever. And once they know which lever moves you, they'll pull it whenever they want. Machiavelli didn't admire noble intentions. He admired results. The ends justify the means. People will manipulate your why to derail your how. They will appeal to your heart to stop your progress. They'll offer you recognition just to distract you from your legacy. They'll dangle false rewards to keep you playing their game instead of building your own. So, what do? You give them surface motives. You say things like, I'm just exploring, or I'm curious, or still figuring things out. Make your mission sound harmless, even forgettable. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, you're building something massive, something they only discover once it's far too late to stop. Your true motivation. Let them figure it out from your results, not from your mouth. Number 5. Never reveal what or who you despise. In an ideal world, being open about what offends or disgusts you would make people respect your values. But this isn't an ideal world. It's full of people who target your triggers. You say, I hate people who ghost. Now they'll ghost you just to watch you unravel. You say, I can't stand being ignored. Now every silence becomes a calculated punishment. You say, I hate being lied to. And now you'll be lied to with plausible deniability. Why does this happen? The more you hate something, the more emotional power it holds over you. Machiavelli warned that a prince should learn to act as both beast and man-civil on the outside, untouchable on the inside. You don't flinch, you don't lose it. You don't react. The moment someone knows what disgusts you, they'll start testing you. Not all at once, but subtly, slowly, surgically, to see if they can control you through disgust, to see if they're strong where you're weak. So, what do? You train yourself for emotional neutrality, not to become passive, but to become unpredictable. Don't let anyone know which insults hurt. Don't let anyone know the people you fear. Don't let anyone know who gets under your skin. Pretend you've got no skin at all, because the moment they know who you hate, they can make you chase justice instead of power, and that's a trap. Number 6. Never reveal what you're willing to sacrifice. People think boundaries are respected by stating them clearly, but in the world of power, the exact opposite is true. The more they know you won't walk away, the more they push you to your edge and beyond. You say, I'd never leave this job. Now, they underpay you and smile while doing it. You say, I'd never hurt them, no matter what. Now they cheat on you emotionally, just under the radar. You say, this is the most important relationship in my life. Now they show up late, give half love, slack off, and still expect you to stay. Congratulations, you've just declared yourself non-threatening. Machiavelli taught rulers to always appear replaceable, but never be replaceable, and always let others believe they can replace you, even when they can't. This is how you flip the script. Instead of saying, I'll never leave, you say, I like it here for now. Instead of saying, I'll do anything for this, you say, I'll do what I must, as long as it makes sense. This doesn't make you cold, it makes you calculating, because what you're willing to sacrifice is the ultimate weapon in any negotiation. And when they know what that is, they won't ask for it directly. They'll just take everything around that line and keep pushing, until the sacrifice becomes inevitable, and you make it yourself. In this world, clarity can actually be a trap. People say, just be clear, say exactly what you want, speak openly. But Machiavelli says, he who is the cause of another's greatness is himself undone. Translation: when you give someone the full blueprint of your mind, you also give them the power to destroy it. Number 7. Never reveal what you truly think about yourself. This is the most dangerous thing you can let anyone know, not your thoughts about others, but your beliefs about yourself. Because if they know how you value yourself, they instantly know how to control your reality. Say you doubt yourself quietly, even just a little. They'll pick up on that and reinforce it until the doubt feels permanent. Say you think you're not attractive, not talented, or not worthy. They'll reflect that back to you in the cruelest ways: jokes wrapped in smiles, backhanded compliments, intentional neglect. It's a sneaky kind of aggression. They don't attack you head-on, but they agree with your doubt just enough to make you hate yourself. Even worse, if you say you think you're powerful, that you deserve more, or that you're going places, they'll mark you for destruction. Because most people don't want to hear the quiet voice of someone rising. They want confessions, they want cracks, they want insecurity. Why? Because insecurity makes them feel safe. Machiavelli would have told you this. People are simple and obedient to their present needs. If someone can deceive them, they will let themselves be deceived. Your biggest deception: letting people think they truly know what you are. So, What should you do? Let them wander. Play a role they can handle. Be humble, curious, and non-threatening. Don't tell them you're building something massive. Let them mock you and feel comfortable. Because comfort makes people lazy and their laziness becomes your camouflage. You want to be unstoppable. Let them think you're stagnant. Let them laugh as you prepare the next move they'll never see coming. Now, you know what not to reveal. But Machiavelli's genius wasn't just in hiding things, it was in weaponizing silence. Silence isn't emptiness, it's tension. It makes people nervous. It makes them project their own fears onto you. It makes them talk too much, revealing things you never had to ask for. Your silence becomes a mirror. They fill in the blanks with their fears. They imagine you know more than you do. They assign meaning to every word you don't say. And that's where your power truly begins. Because the one who speaks the least controls the emotional frame. The world is addicted to explanation. People feel guilty for being misunderstood, so they overcorrect, they clarify, they vent, they post, they confess. But you become Machiavellian. You delete the need to be understood, because you know the secret. Once they know how you work, they'll start working you. Silence is control. Restraint is dominance. Mystery is protection. If they can't read you, they can't prepare for you. They can't trap you. They can't recruit others against you. Because when someone is fully known, they become navigable, predictable, controllable. But the person who reveals nothing, he becomes a myth. You don't have to be rich yet. You don't have to be the most powerful person in the room. You don't even have to be the best. But you do have to be hard to read. Because unreadable people are unshakable. You don't know what they want. You don't know what they fear. You don't know what would break them because they never showed you. You walk into the room and people sit up straighter. They speak slower. They second-guess themselves. Not because you threatened anyone, but because you revealed nothing. This is what Machiavelli meant when he talked about the appearance of virtue without the obligation to practice it. It's not about being fake. It's about being strategic. Because if you live in a world where everyone is always looking for weakness, why would you ever broadcast yours? Now that you know what never to reveal, here's how you operate in the real world. Visible to everyone but known by no one. Machiavelli's strategy wasn't about hiding in the shadows. It was about becoming the shadow inside the room. To win, you must move silently inside the system. Learn the rules. Smile in meetings. Laugh at their jokes. Nod when they share their plans but reveal nothing real. You're not faking agreement. You're withholding allegiance. Here's how it plays out. Someone asks, "What do you think about this person?" You say, "Interesting, but I haven't seen enough yet." Someone asks, "What's your next step?" You say, "Still figuring it out." Someone asks, "What are you really after?" You say, "Mostly peace." Give them dust. Give them vague answers that sound like truth but contain zero leverage. Why? Because power decays when it becomes predictable. You are now unpredictable by design. Power doesn't always look like dominance. Sometimes, it's the quiet hand that adjusts the system without ever being seen. Let others rage. Let others correct themselves publicly. Let them show their ego. You correct in silence. If someone disrespects you, you don't argue. You don't react. You reposition. You remove access. You slow down responses. You redirect outcomes. Behind closed doors, that's the Machiavellian correction. No explosions, just slow erosion. They won't even know you did it, but they'll feel it. They'll feel the coldness. They'll feel the weight of a power they can't explain, and it will haunt them. People think you have to dominate every battle, but Machiavelli knew every visible battle costs something. Reputation, energy, time. So how do you win without noise? You outlast, you outthink. You plant doubt in your enemy's mind without ever touching them. Say someone challenges you, tries to discredit you, spreads rumors. You don't confront. You don't panic. You don't defend. You tighten your circle. You stop sharing. You work quietly, and then one day they wake up and find you've taken the seat they thought was theirs. You didn't fight. You replaced them with silence as your sword. Remember this. The person who must destroy others to rise is weak. But the person who rises in silence becomes a legend, because no one sees it coming. And what people don't see coming, they cannot stop. People always reveal themselves when they speak too much. That's why your words must do one of two things: create an illusion or conceal an intention. Every sentence must serve the fog. You're not lying, you're distorting the lens. Someone asks, Are you trying to lead this? You smile and say, I just want to contribute where I can. Someone says, you've been different lately. You nod, just focusing inward. These aren't lies, they're decoys, because the more people try to interpret your language, the less energy they spend attacking your actions. You're not a ghost, you're not a wall, you're a mirror. And when people can't read you, they see themselves instead. That's why they fear you, and that's why they respect you, because now, you're impossible to decode and dangerous to underestimate. So, now that you've wiped away what makes you vulnerable, what do you fill that space with? What's the replacement for everything you choose not to reveal? The answer: nothing. Not more details. Not some polished story. Not even a new narrative or version of yourself. You fill it with emptiness, and that emptiness is your greatest weapon. Why? Because emptiness forces everyone around you to fill in the blanks themselves. And people always fill those blanks with the worst or the best, but always with something driven by their own fears, desires, or admiration. Think about it this way: the person who stays silent after being betrayed. Now that's scary, because no one knows what's going on inside their head. Nobody can predict what they're going to do next. That silence gives them power. Or the person who doesn't explain their ambitions or their next moves unstoppable, because maybe they're playing 5 steps ahead, and you have no idea. And then there's the person who stays completely neutral, in the middle of drama, feared, because if chaos doesn't move them, no one else will. They're on a different level. This is the mastery Machiavelli spoke of. See, people judge mostly with their eyes, not with their hands. Everyone sees what you appear to be, but very few ever really get to see what you actually are. He knew perception is power. And perception isn't about what you say or what you reveal. It's about what you choose to keep hidden. That's what separates the rulers from the rest of the crowd. It's not charisma, it's not honesty, it's not likability. It's the discipline it takes to stay unreadable in a world addicted to spilling everything. Now, here's something important to understand. When people leave your life, you don't owe them closure. When people betray you, you don't owe them explanations. When people doubt you, you don't owe anyone proof. Let your silence be the punishment that speaks louder than words ever could. Let your distance be the answer to those who question your choices. Let your gloat be the obituary for everyone who doubted you, mocked you, or betrayed you. And those who cross the boundaries you set, don't waste time teaching them a lesson. Don't justify your behavior. Simply deny them access. This is exactly what Machiavelli wanted you to understand. Never let someone dissect your soul after proving they cannot protect it, because now you walk through the world differently. You no longer speak just to be heard, you speak to direct. You no longer reveal what you feel, you reveal what's useful. Your words are tools, not confessions, and you don't justify your absence, because your absence alone carries the message. People may not say it out loud, but they feel it. Deep, heavy in their chest. They don't know exactly what you're thinking or planning, but they know not to mess with you. That's what silence truly buys you. That's what secrecy earns. That's what hiding your deepest truths creates. A psychological climate of fear and fascination. You are no longer just another person. You are a presence they must adapt to. And here's the coolest truth about all this: you don't need to be a classic manipulator. You don't need to be cold or cruel. You don't need to control others like a puppeteer. No. You only need to control the access point. What people know, what they see, and what they believe they're entitled to. And when you close those gates, when you control the information that flows in and out, that's when the kingdom becomes yours again. One of Machiavelli's darkest lessons. It wasn't cruelty, it was about containment. He said that he who conquers himself is greater than he who conquers a city, because mastering control over your own emotions, secrets, and intentions gives you more power than any external conquest ever could. And now, you've conquered the urge to explain yourself. You've conquered the impulse to vent. You've conquered the need to be liked, understood, or known by everyone. You've left behind that version of yourself that bled every time someone pried into your mind or heart, and because of that, they will never really know you of her. Because now, you don't reveal, you observe. Instead, you move strategically, you act decisively, and when they eventually come to understand what you really are, it'll be long after it's too late to stop you. See, the loud ones are noticed, but the reckless ones, they're feared. They're the real force to reckon with. Let's take a moment and just look at this from a real-world perspective. Everyone's out here broadcasting their feelings, their plans, their fears. Everyone's oversharing, explaining themselves to the point they lose power. But you keep your cards close. You let others talk themselves into exhaustion. You sit quiet. You let people fill the silences with their assumptions. Then you use that information. Imagine how disarming that is. When you show no weak points, no clear motives, no emotional triggers, people don't know where to land a blow. They don't know what to believe. And suddenly, you are the one holding all the power. A power that is silent but undeniable. It doesn't have to be loud to be lethal, because real power, it's about control. Control over yourself, your narrative, your boundaries, and your presence. It's about making others dependent on you by being unpredictable, by being unreadable, and by always keeping one step ahead in the game. This is the art of power Machiavelli mastered, and it's an art worth learning. So, what do you do from here? How do you apply all this? Become the shadow in every room you enter. Learn the rules, but don't play by them openly. Smile and laugh at the right moments, but reveal nothing real. Always be curious. Always be humble, but never be predictable. Answer questions lightly. Always give answers that sound like truths, but contain no real leverage. Choose silence over words. Correct quietly, away from the spotlight. Let others believe they're ahead, while you quietly move the pieces behind the scenes. And most importantly, guard your emotional world fiercely. When you're scared, don't show it. When you're upset, don't explain it. When you're the fiercest you've ever been, let it be invisible. Because the moment you stop revealing your secrets, that single quotes is the moment you start controlling your world. And there you have it. The final truth about power, as Machiavelli would have it. Not just about domination or aggression, but about being unreadable, silent, and unstoppable. That's the level you should aim for. That's how you outlast. That's how you outthink. And that's how you win.